And we got a special guest. He's special, all right. He's the County Judge Executive, Judge Troy Koch.
Hey,
welcome
everybody.
to the show.
Hey, it is a pleasure and honor to be here.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It's a repeat. Troy, this time last year we were running for a race, and now you're sitting in a chair. Tell us how it's going.
You know, it's been a really interesting, real interesting.
First 9 months?
Yeah, 9 months.
Is it has
That's
not
no,
really even 9 months. It's
January,
7
February.
months.
Yeah.
Well,
7 months. It'll be 7 months in about, 4 days, 5
I don't know,
days?
but the amount of work you've done, it seemed like you'd had a baby. or been in labor for a while.
It's just, there's a lot of neat things. I've learned a lot of things that I didn't know about government. Obviously, my experience is being
Tom's
with,
cracking up out there.
is.
with DOD.
I'm going to put him on camera.
And being in the military, and learning a lot about local government, learning how our government works is interesting.
Yeah, and how? So, I mean, we talked about this on the campaign trail last year. What your how the Army helped set you up as far as some leadership role and in the executive role that you're doing now. Can you look back on that and say, hey, these are the skills, can you look at a specific skill that you picked up in the Army that says, hey, this has helped, this has been helpful? Or
Yeah, so a large portion of, I have a lot of people come in and present a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues in our county. And a lot of times it's not because people don't want to get things done. It's a matter of focusing into, what needs to be done. And so you have to start answering those questions of what are we trying to solve?
right?
What do we want to accomplish? And there's
Say hi, Tom. He's over here giving us a hard time a second ago, Judge. I had to throw him on the spot. He's one of your magistrates.
Yeah, I know Tom very well.
Sorry, go ahead. You were trying to accomplish some stuff.
Yeah, so it's a matter of looking at a problem set and saying, okay, where do we need to go from here, and identify exactly, where, the processes that need to go.
Sure.
And answer, and first ask your question. What are we trying to solve?
Right.
I learned more about water in the first 2 months than I ever dreamed possible, nor ever wanted to
All you
know.
knew, all you knew before was that you turned a knob and it came out of the faucet.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't come out of the faucet, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Inquiring minds want to know.
A lot of people care.
That's right.
And we found some major problems in our county. I'll tell you, working with Meade County Water Board, Brett Piles, the director over there, I've learned a lot about water. One of the things I didn't realize is that the county, we don't give tax dollars to water.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
The money comes through the state and it comes down based off of projects that are already been presented, approved, and then are back.
And because they're technically a private entity, right? They're a not-for-profit, I think is what it is. It's actually like a
Co-op.
A co-op. Thank
co-op.
you. That's the word I was looking for.
But it's regulated.
Right.
Extremely regulated by the state. They don't make like a
It's not like the library where they can just tax the snot out of you and have a surplus.
Well, I think the library this year has voted down any increases.
That's good.
So again, being fiscally conservative and looking at their assets for what they are. But getting back to water, I mean, it's an interesting proposition. I have a different viewpoint, and in fact, I've talked to Mr. Piles, and at the end of this month, we're going to be doing a town hall with him and also with some of the board members. Brett's going to sit down and he's going to go over, where were we?
Yeah.
Where are we today?
Sure.
And the vision, that the board has worked very hard on to go. And part of that vision is that we produce our own water in 2040.
Wouldn't that be nice?
How do we get to having our own water plant?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And the whole process between where we are right now and some of the things that need to be done for our water system to make it more viable and to be able to have the ability not to be hinged on one point of failure.
I mean,
Yeah.
one thing it was actually a blessing that I think that the water issue came up in wintertime versus now, because right now it would be more, I think probably more dangerous, because you'd be people without water, without being able to have drinking water and things like that. So I think that was a kind of a blessing of timing, but at the same time, it's it at least, at the very least, it showed us that there was an issue that needed to be addressed.
Absolutely.
And so now, you're on that. You're working with the right team to address that. But I think some of the things, if I can commend you on some of the things that I've seen, is that you've actually. I like how you're using the boards, the advisory boards and things, and putting people together, putting people who care about these things in a room, and using their expertise and some of their time, their volunteer time, to be able to move the county forward in these different aspects. So I know of two boards that you've put together. One is the
Animal Control Advisory.
Animal Control Advisory, and one is the Parks and Recreation. Are there any others that you've been working with?
Well, so we're looking at another one, which is looking at our need, our population in need, and I want to put it that abstract, because again, it kind of is a problem set over how do we help people in need, okay, homeless, people that have lost jobs,
Sure.
There's all different natures of that, but how do we make a one-stop, one-shop? How do we reach that population and get them the right services?
Right.
And so that was a problem set that a bunch of great citizens brought to us. We sat down, we talked, we went through what are we trying to define, and then what are we trying to accomplish? And
Right.
so we're in the process of building that that specific board right now, and getting those, as you were saying, Mark, those right personalities.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's very important to get the right set of people who can work together, and that won't have friction, because it's okay to have a little friction, because you want to have differing opinions,
Right.
But you want people who will be civil with one another and allow each other to speak and be able to take a turn at the mic, if you will. But another thing that you've done, maybe it wasn't specifically you doing it, but something that you've helped with, or at least along the lines, is getting the senior citizen building back up and running. And I know that was something that you were, that was kind of near.
You and
to
Mayor
you.
Claycomb were both hot on.
Let me tell you something. Brian Claycomb has done a phenomenal job, in working to get that to come together. And I'll tell you where the situation started at. I was in a board meeting over in Lincoln Trail in the aging, and I think I'd been in office about maybe a week to 2 weeks, and we were receiving all these briefings over Lincoln Trail, and Bryant was there, and the lady from aging, she said, how come Meade County doesn't have a senior center? And I looked at her. I mean, I'm just standing up, and she yelled across the room, in front of probably about 20, 25 people, all other counties there. And I said, well, I honestly can't tell you. I looked at Brian, and Brian looked at me, and I said, well, there's something we'll look into. And, in the process of going through getting everybody together, and that's really, the seniors have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
We've gotten Lincoln Trail to come back, and again, everybody's talking together.
Right. I mean, communication is a big piece of it. You can, I think what happens is a lot of times these things get going and everything starts, it's like a status quo, and everybody says, oh, okay, well, we're just going to enjoy it. Well, it takes work to maintain, and you have to keep that communication line open to find out what's new. Sometimes the dollars dry up a little bit because the economy changes and things.
That's right.
And you have to be able to to communicate with your local government, your state government, and to help offset some of those things, or maybe you cut back, but they can help you. The government can help put a plan together into the future and help you bring other people together. It's not like the county is going to pave those bills, but they can at least help bring people into the room.
Right. Well, and tell you, Mark, both fiscal court and the city has been phenomenal about, we've put dollars up into the senior center. One of the biggest issues is bringing it up to ADA compliance. So we're in process of right now we're building 2 ADA compliant bathrooms in there.
That's not an inexpensive feat.
No, it's not inexpensive.
Bathrooms are one of the most expensive things in a house or any building to build.
But it's needed.
It is.
And the road.
We've seen the photos on Facebook and stuff, so it's coming along.
Yeah, road department went out and painted all and put up all the handicap signs. Mayor Claycomb has gone through the electrical system. Put up different exit signs and stuff. All the different requirements that it was missing. The building has a fire inspection done. It's qualified.
Very good.
All of the fire.
That was loud. Sorry.
Yeah, all the fire suppression systems, fire extinguishers have all been updated and new. Some of them were new. So a lot of work done by a lot of people.
Those are things that you almost take for granted when you walk into a building, that those things are in place.
Yeah.
And again, you have to. It's part of that maintenance program, right? If those things, and now, so now we have the hope from the outside, us outside looking in, that that communication is going to continue, and there's going to be somebody working on that maintenance. So
I'd say it's not just the maintenance, though. It's the bridging strategy, I think, that you've implemented since you've been in office. You've pulled people together. I'd say like you're a big old jar of Elmer's glue, man. You really took the time to get to know the people that are doing the hard work. You blew past all the leadership, went straight down to the bottom and said, get me in the nuts and bolts and let me truly understand what our problems are, and don't give me a strategic look and just, an XM. You said, get me the details. And you got right into the details first so you could understand the problem. Then you took a step back and started asking people for plans, and a lot of them thought hope was a plan. And I love your it's a treasured response, but hope isn't a plan.
Hope is not a method.
Go back and do it again. And you've been that steady throughout the office. So a lot of people have taken a second look and a double take, like, okay, he's ready to get to business. This is like, let's and it's not immediate fixes. It's the long game. Like, you are legitimately looking at 2050, 2030, and all of these, steps to the way ahead is a firm foundation for the future.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's a community approach, and I'm just one person in the cog. Just like the senior center. I mean, we want to have and I say we because it's all of us together.
Right.
Pushing for an opening of the senior center, reopening, if you want to say, soft opening, at the first of the month. And we're not, I was telling everybody there that we're going to be the first of the month, and they're going, well, we don't know if we can make it. We don't know if we can make it. And I'm going, no, we're going to make it. And, we're going to be a couple days off. But that's okay.
In this next segment, we're going to bring to you by Dunkin' Donuts. I'm just kidding. I had to throw a plug. Gary Chapman just reached in for a Dunkin' Donut brought to us by Pastor Ryan from Journey Church.
Oh, I love it.
And I just had to, hold on, let me try that again. That was pretty good. In this next segment, brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Chocolate every day can be your fanfare.
There goes somebody's family.
I know that. Vicky just went by. My little babies went by. That's who I was goo-goo and gaga while you were talking a second ago.
Gotcha.
So if you're watching me going, oh, you're so cute, that was me making goo-goo eyes to my little one, Stevie. So
nice.
That's great.
Anyway, so
that's what it's all about.
Troy, I tell you this to your face. I tell it to you all the time, but I want the people to know. I have had so many community volunteers, officials, come to me and say, I didn't really know what to expect, but I can tell you that in the first couple of months, he has more than proven himself. Come comments that I get all the time. And I think that they are truly glad that they got behind you for that. I think it's the ice again. Are you hearing the national anthem again?
I think I hear the
prayer. Oh, let's see. Hold on a second. Hey, we're going to come back in just a second. We'll take a brief pause. So